Hi again. Today I'm going to be starting two new projects simultaneously. They are my first ever go at metalworking tools, pipe bending. One for circular tube bending, two wheels that I bought. And of course, the other project is the square tube bending. That's step one. So I'm going to jump in and let me show you the process as we go. So the two pieces of metal I just cut, that's going to go underneath and that's going to go on top, drill very big holes through for these bolts. I'm just about to cut a piece of metal to go in between there as part of the handle. And this other piece which I've just made, 50 centimetres long, the idea is that that's going to fit there, something like that. I'm going to cut a little notch in my table here, my own custom table for my own things. And then I'm going to take this piece of metal and put it at that bit's at 90 degrees there. So the next day, 14mm holes are my least favourite thing, particularly in 5mm metal. I went through a load of drill bits, that was extremely difficult. Anyway, it's done now. I'm going to weld this in here, like that, as part of a handle. So that's for my circular roller. The other wheel isn't there right now, but there's going to be another wheel there. That's the circular roller, bender, sorry. And for the square piece bender, that's cut like that, and then this is going to go something like that. And I'm going to use these then as little props. And finally, these are pieces of nails, which I'm going to use to strengthen up. I'm worried that that mightn't be strong enough. So I'm going to strengthen up everywhere with them like that. Right, well, let's do some welding. Great. These four little inserts which fit inside here between the disc and the bolt are just all 1 millimetre too long, so I'm having to just shave 1 millimetre or two off all of them. Just. Excellent. Excellent. A little bit tight, but that's okay. I'll draw a veil over the difficulties that I encountered, but I got there in the end. Okay, back to the square tube bender, and I'm just about to weld this on here. So this is going to bolt onto my bench, theoretically, and the tube's going to go in there, up like that, and this needs welding on here. So let's see how I go with that. I'd just like to show you a close-up of what I'm about to do here. So that's the welding I did a moment ago. And you see this bent tubular rod held by the magnet. I'm just about to weld that into place, and then I'll put supports there. Let's see. So here I am the next day. This is the circular tube bender, and this is the square tube bender. Neither of them is finished, but they're getting very close. So the plan so far, even though it's not a certain plan yet, is something like this piece of wood, this piece of angle iron. I swore I wouldn't ever drill another bloody 14mm hole, but I did. At least that time it was only 3mm thick, not 5, so it's a bit more doable. That goes something like that. And then this goes something like that. And up here, I'm going to now weld on a piece of metal. So I'll just run a few quick tests here. Put a piece of plastic in, and this shows me that line there. Don't know if you can see, I've just drawn a little line. That line there is where your plastic tubing, or metal tubing, excuse me, is going to come to anyway. So theoretically, all I need to do now is weld on a very solid piece of metal right there. So here we go. These two unusual looking machines are hopefully a circular cross-section tube bender and a square cross-section tube bender. So here I am again a few days later with my circular tube bender. I have replaced the small wheel with a bigger wheel. These two are now the same size, which means that there's less of a gap here. But I've seen a number of videos on YouTube where people say that the trick is to fill the tube with sand. So I've been to the beach this morning. I'm about to fill the tubes with sand. I put a stopper in the ends, and I'm just about to... Let's see how we go with that once they're filled with sand. This tube is full of sand. On your marks, get set. Okay. That's much better. For me, for now, I'm pretty happy with that. Just going to try this bender now with small, flat, solid metal. Let's see what happens. No bother. Well, that's actually very nice. Not bad at all, and easy to do. On your marks, get set. That was actually easy. There's the bend that I made on the circular ruler. So it seems to me that if you want to do a sharp bend, that's not possible, but I believe that these benders are good enough to do a gentle bend. So let me try that again. I won't go as far. So if I want to make a bit of a bend, I just go like this. So long as I don't try to go too... So long as I don't try to go too sharp, it works. I can't do a 90-degree bend, but look, et voila, that's fine. And, you know, that's getting a little bit pinched, but slightly less than that would be okay. So there you go. My advice if you want to bend tubes is go to the shops and buy a proper machine, because that was very difficult and they won't do 90 degrees. But other than that, I really enjoyed the process and I hope you enjoyed watching the video. Thanks for joining me. God bless. Bye.